Today we're going to do something a little bit different for my channel. TRELEAF reached out to me, the woman-owned company out of Atlanta, introduced themselves. Unnecessary. I think we all know their wonderful trellises, specifically the Palmella. I think most of our favorite YouTubers have one of these. It was very flattering for them to want to do a partnership with such a small channel. So what they did is they gave me a generous budget. I was able to choose 3 trellises to try out, and I want to state up front that it's not a bought and paid for review. I view my responsibility to you, and I will give honest reviews always. I won't exaggerate anything, and I'm going to prove that in this video, unfortunately. But I'm going to start out with a couple of the most positive things, and then I'll move on to one that might not be quite ready for prime time. So let me start out with my second favorite product first. First trellis up is the Zella. These are made out of cedar, and let me tell you, I just priced some cedar wood. I was grabbing my left arm and wondering what that shooting pain was. Very, very expensive. This smells so wonderful. And having just stained some boards for my porch, and I am going to shoot that styling video, I am so sick of smelling the noxious fumes of that this is a real treat. These are, I believe, 18 inches. So we have a very tall trellis here. And I have had in mind for some time, corner of my fireplace, I have some snake plants for filler. I think I've mentioned that before. I wanted something more vertical. I'm going to add a grow light and the perfect plant, because I don't want it to be one that's fussy or needs any particular conditions. It's going to sit there all winter long. Pubicalyx Royal Hawaiian Purple. Perfect choice. It is bulletproof. It's as good as any Carnosa. And I have one that has pretty long vines already. I cut them way, way back because it was growing up the sides of one of my shelves. So very fast grower. We're in the growing season, long days of light, so perfect choice. I think I'm gonna have to switch pots out. It's in a 4-inch pot now. It's getting thirsty basically all of the time. So I'm gonna put this in what will probably be its forever pot, a 6-inch pot. I think for this particular plant, that will work out perfectly. To connect these, and I think I might connect them after I put this in so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'll do this one piece. No, I'm going to show you how they connect because it is very clever and very stable. So there's a front side and a back side, finished side and unfinished side to these. But it doesn't matter which direction you put these clips in. And you can't put it in backwards because it will not fit correctly. There is a thinner side and a thicker side. Thinner side and a thicker side right there. So we'll put on these 2 clips and look for the etched sides and slip these together. And I'm going to do it flat against the table so that I'm not putting any undue pressure against the trellis. So, you know, I'm not a construction guy or anything, but I did restore our huge house, and I understand that I've read some reviews that are concerned about how thin these are. One, that's a good thing. I would not want a thick, like a piece of construction lumber. I hate that look. I would not want a big, thick piece of lumber in my pot. But the strength, the lateral strength, is what's really important as long as you have this strength here. So this is very sturdy. I've already played with it. As long as you're not forcing this down, you are not going to break this. It's very nice. I'm very happy with this trellis. Let's see if we can't make this look good. So I am going to pull our beautiful plant out of here. It has been such an easy plant to care for. I think this is just absolutely ideal. Yeah, and it's been drying out pretty quickly, so it was due for either a repot or an up pot, so this is really good timing. I have pre-moistened a little bit my usual 3-component mix here. And of course those ingredients are linked in my description, as will be the discount code for TRELEAF. So if you're interested, and I'll just spill the beans. I think you probably should be interested in a couple of these trellises. They're luxury items. They're quite lovely. So I think that's gonna be how I want to do it. We'll fold these up. I got the right amount of mix the first try, so let me just start loading it in here. With this mix, I'm sorry my glasses keep sliding down. I don't know what the problem is. I don't worry about filling this all the way up to the brim. Water never careens off the top of it. It's very, very chunky and it just goes right through it. So that's one very nice thing. As long as I'm getting enough cocoa coir in there and it's just not all chunks, but I've had some practice at this point, so I usually hit it. I'll tell you, I never err on the side of too much cocoa coir and not enough chunks. That has never happened. Do I still need the tag? Am I going to forget this is a Pupa Calyx Royal Hawaiian Purple? I kindly doubt it. All right, let's see what we can do here. This is gonna, you know, I always threaten to bring my wife on this channel to help me, and I always do projects when she's not available to help me. I guess that's because she has just, you know, a normal job and everything that she goes to. That is a little, I want it more centered here. And I'm going to risk it all and bend all these vines back. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. And I don't mind if it leans back just a little bit. It is going to be leaning against the wall, so that will work perfectly for me. They did include some tan zip ties, or not zip ties, twist ties, that I'm not going to use. I kind of like how jute rope looks, or twine. I think it looks very natural. If you know, you know. And I am just going to cut a couple pieces of this, dress it up, and see how she looks. And I already know it's going to look good. It just is. This is a beautiful trellis. Now, as I said, there are a lot of these trellises out there in the planty tube world. It would make the most sense to tie this off up top here first, and then maybe secure it below if I need to. I may not need to. But what I've seen quite a few times is that people are putting rather large aeroids on them and covering up the trellis completely, which for me really defeats the beauty of this trellis, and spending the extra money to get something, you know, so really very pretty. And trim that back. Some of these leaves will have to now readjust. They were all going up, then they were hanging, now they're gonna go back up. And that's just gonna be fine. But to me, to put a large leaved Adansonii, or what, you name the big aroid, as its size, it will just completely cover this. And the same with the palmella back there, especially the small ones. When you put a huge plant right in front of it, doesn't make sense to me. And as there are so many Hoya lovers on this channel, you'll get that, we have an advantage here. And my thought was that it would be really nice to have, not way before I got one of these trellises, is to have it partly going up a trellis and partly hanging off the pot. So I'm really excited about this. And did I cut a piece of twine? No, I did not. There we go. And I will play with the trellis after I try to break a vine and get it straightened out. As always, I'm probably explaining something you already know, but when you water in the substrate, you can get everything situated like you like. It becomes much more stable in the pot. In fact, sometimes it's just downright with those wire do-it-yourself trellises I often use. It's almost impossible to keep them steady until you water the plant. And I'm sitting on all kinds of, right into the chandelier again. How many times am I going to do that on this channel? Many more times. How does that look? I know how that looks. It looks great. So, very pretty, going to be very stable. Let me take a look here. Oh yeah. A+. I mentioned that TRELEAF is a woman-owned business, and that's a big deal to me. I'm married to a woman. She works for a woman-owned business. A good friend of mine, hello Tom, is co-owners with his wife in a woman-owned business. She started it. She is absolutely the brains behind it, no question about it. And throughout downtown Iowa City, there are signs in front of every woman-owned business. But I think you'll appreciate it too, because YouTube supplies me with statistics, and women make up almost 90% of the watch hours on my tube channel. So thank you, ladies, and thank you for both of the men who are subscribers and watchers. I appreciate you too. This is one of my two variegated Hoya. This is the Carnosa exotica. And I know it probably looks like a princess to everybody, but not all intervariegated Carnosa are Crimson Princess. I've mentioned that a few times on the channel. I think this is very pretty. I have probably, I don't know, 8 4-inch pots of this ready to go, and I haven't really promoted those in any way. They are so beautiful, and I am hoping that the palmella will work. This is the extra tall one. I didn't think it made sense to get a really short one for plants that grow well. I have chopped this plant and chopped it and chopped it. You get the idea. Just a bunch of chopping because it is so popular. This year with this channel, I have not sold a plant locally, but it used to be as soon as I would put this on Facebook, boom, gone. And so that's why it is only this large. It could be enormous right now, and I'm good with that. That's one thing I love about Hoya, is you can kind of control, not kind of control, you can control the size of the plant. So I'm going to try to do the same thing I did with our last victim and pull the vines up. I'm going to cut a couple of leaves out of my way. A little something we call no harm and no foul. And let's do this. so this came, I ordered it, pardon me, bare. And a lot of people kind of are extravagant with colors. They paint them, or maybe they use colored stain. I don't know what they do. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I like things quite natural in the house. We have all wood floors throughout everywhere but the bathroom. And I want the plant to be the star, not the color of the trellis. The natural beauty of this, I oiled it with a citrus wax. I don't know if it's shining. I won't know until I edit this. And then I'll probably leave some smart comment like, it is, or it's not, or who knows what I do when I edit. I catch all the thoughts I was in the middle of and then forget to finish. That's when I'm editing, that's what I notice, what I forgot to include. So I think, let's see what I want to do here. I'm going to bring a leaf back. Just 1, 2, like this. I am going to let the vine just be natural. It's obviously, it's a brand new vine. It's quite long and very tender, so I'm going to leave that alone just to grow, to do its thing. This one is a little more stable. It's got 2 baby leaves on the end. Oh, this is, oh man, this is great. This is the one I was the most excited about. No question. And I'm going to, I think I might cinch this down. And by the way, thank you, TRELEAF, for supplying these absolutely gorgeous trellises. I think that's it. I'm just going to secure that because Hoya have a mind of their own, and it will move itself off of this trellis, I think. I want you to stick around for a minute because I'm putting the positive foot forward first, which is genuinely my nature. But I have to report that, you know, one is not that hot. And I haven't been looking forward to that, but they asked me to review these and I'm going to do it. And as I said, my allegiance is to you and building trust in our relationship, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that looks fantastic. And as it grows, obviously I will be able to control how much or how little of this trellis I want to see, and the answer is I'm going to want to see quite a bit. So I won't have this grow out really full, and I will probably continue to propagate. I will definitely continue to propagate off this beautiful plant and make those available. So A++. I love this trellis. Gorgeous. Okay, for this one, I can put my scissors and my twine away because I'm not going to put a plant on it. I did forget one thing. Probably the only time on this channel you'll see me use Scotch tape. Unless you've purchased a plant from me and seen it on your package. Okay, so next up is the Stella. And I love, aesthetically, this trellis. It is very pretty. And I was most excited about this trellis actually between that one and this one, the Zella and this one, because it looked like there were a lot of really good tie-off points, and I was going to trim back that Royal Hawaiian purple and kind of grow it straight up this one in kind of a narrow way. You can see me hedging here. So it comes with 2 pieces like this. And then I opted to use the rest of my budget on the extension, which is these 2 pieces. And when I got it with its included plastic clips, can you see how these work? It's just a bracket. I was quite curious to see how these would hold such a very tall trellis stable. And they clip on like this. I'm not doing a very good job of being able to see what I'm doing and showing you. So they clip on like this, which I thought very clever. And they are laser cut so that you can only put these on one way, and I think I'm showing you backwards. So this side has a cup inverted, and this one has an extroverted cup. I'm not sure what you would call it. And I'm just going to put this together real quick and share my, recreate my experience with it for you. Now, I put this together the other night. This is exactly, I have recreated this for my wife when I was asking for her advice. And I took it into the plant room, which you're gonna see soon. And I was going to size it up on that Royal Hawaiian purple, and I twisted it and it fell apart into 4 pieces like it just now did. And I can't say it surprised me that much, because with this put together, there is absolutely no stability at all. None. None at all. So I won't beat a dead horse here, but I'll just show you very briefly what it looks like in terms of stability front to back. So even if you could hold this together, this is what we're dealing with. If you put any pressure on side to side, okay. So you take my point. So what I did, I deliberated a little bit, because no matter what happened, you were gonna get an honest review. I debated on, do I contact the company or do I just review it as given to me? And after a while, and talking to my wife, I thought, well, that would be really unfair. If I got a sample that's outside of quality control, I, as a manufacturer, would have wanted to know that. And so I did send an email and shared my experience and said that, you know, there's no way I could recommend this. That none. I would not put a plant on this. There's no plant here because I'm not going to put a plant on it. And the response I got was to try to put, or not try to put Scotch tape on the back of the trellis, and that should make it usable. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it's not the response I would have expected. You know, the response was that these should be tight. So maybe this is outside of, you know, quality control standards. I would have thought they would want me to review a functional version of this, like send me a new one, you know, get this one returned, whatever they wanted, and I would have been happy to just delay this review. Of course, I've got lots of things I want to film for you. But the idea that a piece of solution is not to give me a functional trellis, but to put Scotch tape on the back, Scotch tape has no structural integrity at all. I am still going to do it because I try to have an open mind in life. I'm certainly not going to wrap it around the plastic, like, you know, broken glasses type of thing. You know, to make this usable would be to glue these pieces together while it's flat. You know, use a very quick setting glue, and then run a 1/4 inch square dowel along the length of it. That would make this functional, and that's what I will do. But the problem is, for me, I mean, for me, it's time. Who has time? But this is a $70 trellis with the extension. And I did see that it's on sale right now, and I have no information on why, if it's going away. I imagine a lot of these getting returned if people are getting them like this. It's hard to keep little pieces stable as it gets longer and longer. There's a reason that I build trellises long like I do from the beginning. And cylinders are very strong, you know, my do-it-yourself cylinders. And any big moss pole like Sydney Plant Guy and my big aeroids. So I don't think at a $70 trellis anyone should have to modify this, certainly not with Scotch tape. So TRELEAF, I love your other two trellises, but this one is not great. So it's taped. Before I do anything, and I didn't mean to make this video quite so long, I would never, ever put a plant on this, because what if you made it stable enough to use, you got your whatever plant on this, and you bump it and it breaks your vine. If you're anything like me, and I am not wound tight, my friends, but I would be not happy. So here is our Scotch taped trellis, and the side-to-side test, you know, it's not falling apart with very, very light pressure. But would I ever trust this with, once you add the weight of a plant onto it? No. So the Stella, unfortunately, can't recommend. Stick with me for 1 second. I want to water in those other two, and let's take a look at them real quick. All right, so swing and a miss on the Stella. Palmella, large, extra large, wonderful. Love it. I think that looks fantastic. And the Zella, gorgeous. I am gonna be so happy with this. Beautiful. Thank you so much, TRELEAF, for giving these to me, offering my viewers the discount code that is in the description. For you viewers, next video up is going to be soon, maybe Sunday, and that is going to be a detailed propagation lesson on Hoya. I've gotten so many questions on that, and while I work on the Hoya care guide, I am just going to show you with some very cool Hoya that even Miro doesn't have, I betcha, how I do it. I will see you in that one real soon. Bye-bye.